Jemima is a nice person when she wants to be. Any other time, or especially when she's with Devin. Just, I don't know, Jemima's just not even an individual anymore. It's just like y'all just locked together. Both of y'all. You too. It's not even Jemima, Devin. It's Jemima and Devin. Or Devin and Jemima. It's Dev-Mima or Jemevin. That's what it is.
Ugh.
Whatever. Something like that. Y'all just a pack now, man. Y'all just a mean, grumpy old, bitter pack. And y'all just some hateful people, man. Y'all need Jesus. That's what you need. Y'all need Jesus. So, hey, like, y'all hate people like I hate nets. Just, Y'all need Jesus. That's all I got to say. Even though Mr. Bosc don't believe in Jesus, but Mr. Bosc, you gonna start believing until you come back.
One of the main things for black women is that a lot of people count them out automatically, and they're fighting that adversity already. So.
I think that you measure identity by it's through yourself. Like,
I don't know. I feel like the people, when we ask other people what identity is, they really don't know.
You're like, oh, I'm bubbly and I'm this, and like they say like characteristics that describe themselves, but I don't think that identifies you, because I would never.
I think that's just the surface of it, but to be real, like to
I
keep
don't.
it 100,
I was surprised a lot of people didn't say like things about themselves like physical characteristics, because a lot of them said like personality traits, and it's easy for people to have the same personality traits. So I don't know why. I was surprised a lot of people said that.
And then they said they were being different, but then you're characterizing yourself so basically that it's in such a basic way that you're lumping yourself with somebody else. Like, I feel like for 4 years and like 3 months, I was the girl with the glasses and bangs, and that's who people identify me as, is the girl with glasses and bangs who dates Jamal, and then Jemima is the president of school. Like, and then so I'm not saying like if you want to characterize me by my characteristics, I'm bitter, mean, cute.
The reason people identify themselves, like for example, some people said like, oh, I'm nice and I have a nice personality, because they don't want to be identified as that's Jemima, that's the dark skinned girl, or that's Devin, that's the girl with the glasses, because I don't want to be seen as the dark skinned girl, or I don't want to be seen as the African girl.
To be honest, if I don't like you, then I'm not gonna think you have, like, I'm gonna have a negative, your identity to me is gonna be negative. Like, I'm gonna think you're ugly, I'm gonna think you're loud, I'm gonna think everything you do is wrong. So no matter, if I don't like you, just to be honest, I don't have really a filter with my eyes and my brain. If I don't like you right here, then my eyes are gonna see you as bad.
I agree. And it's just not us being who we are. I think it's everybody. Like, if you have a reason not to like a person, what makes you think you're going to think highly of them when they, do something that's worth getting praised? I think that if you have something against another person, then yeah, it's going to affect your perception of their identity, because just because you're that person, you're going to think anything that they do is not worthy of any, like, acclamations. Is that a word? Good. Or I think it's like, because if a person that you liked did something good, then you'd be okay. But since it's that person, you're probably not going to like that, just because of what the identity that they're perceived already. I don't like this. Can we cut this out?
Yeah. Because you know how people are like, I don't know why people don't like us, because we're the nicest people in the world. But then it kind of affects how you think of us as overall. Like,
wait, people don't like us?
No.
Oh wait, so you're saying that people don't like us, or you're talking about like other people who say that?
They don't like us.
So as twins, do you think you have an identity as twins and your own identity, or like how does that work?
Well, like coming to high school, we try to build up our own identities, because there's no independence when you're growing up, and I think that's what we're both trying to form while we're here.
And I think we think of ourselves as having like a separate identity, but then you like look at society and they're like, oh, the twins.
Yeah, it's never just like Emily or Rebecca. It's just like the girls, the twins.
Unless you're my twin. Becca, and then there's
Yeah.
Emily.
Like, you really have to get to know us to, like, know the difference. And
So what's your identity as twins together? Like, what would you say people see as you as just twins together?
We're like the complete opposites of each other.
yeah. I mean,
Complete
like,
opposites.
yeah.
So how are you opposites then?
I mean, there's, like, differences, like, physical differences, but, like, I mean, I'm more social, more talkative, and Rebecca kind of, like, keeps to herself, but then she can be that way as well. But I think we kind of, like, complete each other.
Did you guys, as kids, did you guys dress up like each other and stuff like that? How do you think, like, okay, so taking that, how do you think that affects the formation of your identity? If you're dressed like her and you look like her, are you
Yeah.
expected to act like her? Like, how does that work?
I feel like that kind of affected who we are. Like, our independence, I guess you could say. I guess basically being the same person from birth. You know, because we're twins and everybody wants us to be together and we can't be our own people.
And we have to share everything.
We have to share everything, which is hard, but I feel like people just, the more you get to know us, or like if you see us grow up, like we become separate people. I mean, yes, we get around it.
I mean, if you look at a picture from us when we were 5 years old, we look exactly the same. But then you look at us now, and we look completely different. And then people will say, oh, we look the same.
Do you think you try to be different from each other? Like,
Yes. Oh, yes. We just went to go get our hair done, and she's like, get it cut short. Get it cut really short, you know,
then,
or like I was wearing glasses, I wear contacts. Yeah. It's like, we do try to be different, but I guess there's so much alike, it doesn't really work.
okay, so a lot of people say that the media affects your self-identity, but is it in a bad way, or is it in a good way? I think the worst way that media has affected my self-identity is when it comes to my hair. Because, so I've straightened my hair since I was like 4, and when I really have when my hair is naturally, well, it used to be naturally curly, and that's the more black way to do it, and that's part of my identity is there's a bug on me. Part of my identity is my heritage, is my African American heritage, but then I took away a big part of it by straightening my hair. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but African Americans are the only ones with the hair like we have. You know what I mean. And so I think that's the only part, or not the only part, but the biggest part of the media affecting my self-identity in a bad way. Just that bit. Because I looked at the dolls, the Barbies, I didn't have a Barbie, I had a Christy. And a Madison, not.
What's your identity in front of white people?
Right?
Yeah, I try to go against what they think black people act like.
Why?
Because, they're already thinking, oh, she might be ignorant, she might be ghetto, so I might as well talk a certain way so they think I'm more educated.
You don't think you're yourself. You don't think that you're your true you in front of white people.
No.
And how do you think that affects the way you develop as a person? Can you really be yourself ever?
I mean, when you say it that way, no, but I can, but it's all about being accepted. So.
Do you feel like there's a need to be accepted?
Yes.
And do you think that need kind of goes over being true to yourself?
Yes.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think that you're saying you'd rather belong to a group than stay true to who you are, which is understandable, but why is that such a big deal?
I mean, because it's kind of, I guess it's easier to kind of conform to a group than to just stand out, because then you're kind of just alone.
So do you think that in forming your identity, do you think you form your identity through the group that you associate yourself with, or through yourself as a person?
It kind of goes both ways, because you know how they say feathers of a bird flock together.
So you just think that as a child, how am I supposed to be accepted for who I am, or because of my skin, or because of my hair, when this is not when people who look like me aren't being praised, or people who look like me aren't being called beautiful, or they're exceptionally beautiful, oh, that's a beautiful person, like for a dark-skinned person, or that's a beautiful black woman. It can't just be like a beautiful woman or something like that. And so you feel kind of like you can't form a strong, like a positive identity for yourself because of what the media is telling you should be, or what the media is telling you is beautiful. And that's a problem. So I think that identity is both subjective and objective, because we are defined by society's standards. Like, society does define us and society does identify us, but we don't want to have to be subjected to how society defines us. Like, the way society defines me is not how I necessarily want to define myself, but I can't help it if society sees me one way and I see myself another way.